You guys like complicated movies? This is one of them. The intro.
Our intros are getting better, I think.
Yeah, you think?
with the music that comes out of your mouth.
Oh yeah, you like that one?
I like that. I think all of our music.
I'll do it. I'll do it for
be,
that one.
Yeah.
I'll do it for this one. I think that's fun.
I think we should just like
a weird
have
intro.
You make mouth noises, and it's just gonna be in the background of the whole video. Just tune down.
How's this for background music?
Okay, no. That sounds a little weird. So we're here again. It's movie time for the full-time movie fans.
There you go. Very good. very calm, very chill.
Man, I felt a little bit. One of those moods.
Jarvis has a different microphone today because
Yeah.
we read the comments.
Yeah, we do.
And I also read my text messages.
He's got strangers reaching out, finding his cell phone, and like personally like texting.
Yeah,
him to be
we
like,
had 3
"Hey,
people
bro."
come up to my front door and knock on it and go, "Hey, what's going on with Jarvis's microphone?"
One of them was a Amazon Prime delivery,
which was crazy of the microphone.
Yeah, and he was like, "Here, you guys
Use
need
this."
more than
Yeah,
what we do."
thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks,
Jeff
Jeff,
Bezos.
the Amazon.
Yeah, Jeff.
Mr.
He also delivered it.
Mr. Bezos.
Yeah, times are so tough that Jeff Bezos is also an Amazon delivery driver
You know
now.
what? People say a lot of bad things about him, but he's trying to take care of the little people like us. He didn't give us any money.
With
but
the microphone.
he still charged us for the microphone. But I mean, he's trying to help, right?
Yeah. This is not a sponsorship.
No, definitely not. So I'm your host, Jarvis. And
I'm your other host,
this is our host,
Michael, from
Michael.
20 minutes ago.
Yeah. Remember that time when you did the intro?
It'll make sense the more we talk about this movie.
Yes.
It's actually 24 hours ago we did this one,
yeah.
but we're doing it again right now.
Yes, because we have to.
And we're also in the basement attic.
It's predestined for us to.
Yeah.
To
No,
do
different
it.
movie. Different movie.
All
Different
right,
one.
So I just want to say again, I don't know. I think the vibe we try to go for is just friends hanging out talking about movies, which is literally what we're doing.
Yeah, we should probably make sure that people understand that. So
Yeah.
at the time that this came out, we just posted The Last Jedi.
Woo-wee,
Yeah.
boy,
And I will say, can I get controversial for a moment?
I mean, I think
Would that be fine?
We like The Last
Can
Jedi
I-
controversial.
Well, can I
so
get more controversial?
Get-
Can I
get
light
it.
some more fires real
please
quick?
Get it.
You Star Wars fans take it way too seriously. Like, way too seriously. People can enjoy movies that aren't great. I tell Jarvis this every episode now.
No,
You can enjoy movies that aren't conventionally good because they're fun, and that's okay. Does it make them a good movie? No, but it made it enjoyable. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like all of the Star Wars movies that were made are good. Obviously not. That's not the case. The Acolyte I've heard is terrible, and I'm not even going to watch it. But you guys take this way too seriously, so we're going to tone it back and talk about 2 movies that you should watch instead of Star Wars because, honestly, arguably more interesting than any of them.
let me just say that I a little bit disagree with what you just said, and
No.
I might be a little bit toxic because a lot of it is like I'm very firm on my stance that The Last Jedi is good, and when people
I'll stick with you on that
when
one.
people comment and they're like, no, it was just bad, and I'm like, but why? For what reason do you think that? They don't respond. I'm like, okay, but no.
I'll take it a step further. I'll say The Last Jedi was good for a Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Ooh.
Take that.
Talk about
Take that, Star Wars fans.
Yeah, but here's what I will say. I do like the fact that you guys have been commenting on it, so that's kind of fun. So yeah. I was moving away from Mike. My bad.
You're not used to it yet.
New
He's,
Mike, who
he's
dis?
getting used to it. But today we're not talking about Star Wars. We're talking about different
I
science
got a
fiction
new
tropes.
Mike with old Mike. Just kidding.
Gross. Don't like that.
Nope.
I'm
That's also a
painfully
callback.
aware of my age. I have a gray hair now. Isn't that cool?
Oh my gosh, I've got so many just in my beard. So I'm primed and ready for this discussion because
That was a good
this
one.
was
We'll keep that one.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
all
going to
right.
start
This
bleeping out your puns when I think they're bad.
It's just gonna be one of those black bars over my face.
Yeah. You won't even
No
get to
audio
guess.
there.
We're talking about Primer today.
This
I
is
recommended this one.
Yes.
We actually, okay, so the way that we generally do this is that we both pick a movie without any prior discussion. We're just like, hey, let's watch this and this.
Yeah, so like sometimes at the end of our recording we'll talk about it, and sometimes we don't, and we'll just once it gets closer to our next recording session, we're like, oh, we didn't pick a movie. What?
Yeah. So we'll talk about these.
Yeah, so this is one of those situations.
Yeah.
Where it was
So
getting late in
I
the
picked
week.
Primer.
Yep.
Which I think is a fantastic movie with a lot of like good stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
And you picked the one that we're going to talk about next, which I'm not going to talk about, but it's also a time travel movie.
Dude, it was so funny because as soon as I started watching Primer, which was immediately after you said, hey, let's watch this movie, I found it and just started watching it. I was like, whoa, this is so funny.
Yeah, because we both picked without knowing.
We both picked similar movies.
I picked indie budget time travel movie, and you picked like Hollywood blockbuster time travel movie.
I never even heard of it.
Not really, but
I mean,
comparatively, the budget was massively different.
Yeah, the actors and stuff like that. I mean, big names and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I was immediately
funny.
started laughing as I started watching it.
So Primer, do you want to talk about Primer for your impressions with Primer, or should I go first? I think you should go first because you were new to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was into it. But so what I'll say about Primer is that, and guys, this is a movie that you have never seen. I guarantee you've never seen this movie. I would bet money that you've never seen this movie.
98% of the population, I would say, has not seen this movie.
Yeah.
99 maybe.
Yeah, and I was one of that percentage until you said to watch it. And
I love converting you into the underground.
Yeah, underground films. Hey, and for you guys too, like, we want our channel to be a place where you can explore and experience new movies and stuff like that. But that being said, so Primer was a movie I'd never heard of. It definitely looked low budget. So I'll say that. And my first impressions were, again, as soon as it started getting that sci-fi, it started off as like some kind of small startup, like I would think for Jeff Bezos' story, since he's starting a garage, he's trying to figure out how to make it big and stuff like that. And that's what these guys are trying to do. Yeah, and so
that's true. They were trying to. Two scientists. We'll get into I'll do my best to explain the story in a little bit.
Yes, please.
But
because I was very confused. Like, they vaguely talk about what they're trying to do. There's 4 people, and 2 of them are closer connected in what they want to do, and the other 2 are closer connected in what they want to do, which is something different. Mm-hmm. And so they decide, okay, well, we're just going to split our things, and they can do their thing, we can do our thing. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. I immediately, after it started getting into the sci-fi stuff, that's when I started laughing, because I was like, wow, we picked the same movie, basically. Yeah,
you didn't know until it started getting there, right?
I didn't know, but then and like I said, as soon as it happened, I just started laughing. I was like, wow, that's crazy that we both picked like the same type of movie.
We're very in tune. We're synchronized.
Yeah, we've synchronized our movie calibration.
Yeah, it's very good.
That's what happens when you're a full-time movie fan and you hang out with other full-time movie fans.
Yeah.
You get calibrated to each other. But that being said, speaking of calibrations, they made quite a few calibrations on some Mystery Machine. And that's not the Scooby-Doo van. No. It is something that has to do with electricity. Yeah. And waves of some sort.
You're doing a great job at recalling things that you saw in the movie.
Yeah, because my first impression was, yes, oh wow, this is similar, and then second was like, the more it got on, the less I feel like I was getting on what was actually happening.
And the more complicated it gets.
Yes, and so, but I would say I wouldn't say it's not that I wasn't into it. I was into it as much as my brain could understand, and I'll say this, like, I don't know where you stand on this, but there are some, I've heard studios and I've heard people talk about movies. They're like, oh, well, this is just too smart of a movie for people. You need to dumb it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that kind of talk.
I don't either.
But at the same time, I don't think I was smart enough to understand this movie.
Yeah, I have my own critiques about what they could have done to make that easier, but we'll get there.
Yeah, and I'll say this too right off the bat is.
But you're 100% correct. This is, if you are not paying 100% attention to this movie, it is so unapproachable.
Yeah. You can't be distracted while watching. You can't just play it in the background and get it still.
You told me you watched it twice.
I watched it twice
in a row.
Immediately, because like the first time I watched it, I'll admit I had my phone out and I was like, you know what? I'm kind of hungry. Let me go make me some ramen real quick. And then when I sat back down, I was like, what's going on? I was like, it's like someone came into my apartment and switched movies, and then I didn't know what was going on.
But with the same actors.
And I was like, whoa, what's going on? And so I immediately rewatched it with putting more effort into, hey, don't be distracted, put the phone away, try to understand.
Yeah.
because the review depends on it. You know what I mean? And so, but like I said, I will say that I was into it. So between our two movies, again, we'll talk about my movie after this one, but mine was, your movie was an extremely smart movie that I couldn't understand, and mine was a little bit, it was smart, but it was very...
We'll talk about that one too, but
it was a little bit more.
We had an opposite gripe, is that mine was too complicated and yours was like...
Maybe too simple.
Hey, do you want to know how the movie ends?
Yeah.
From like the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, yours didn't want to tell me. I felt like what's Ryan Gosling's character from The Notebook when he was talking to Rachel McAdams' character? Mm-hmm. What do you want?
Yeah.
Like I was like, tell me, what is this story? What does this mean? And they wouldn't tell me. Okay.
What I am getting from your first impressions is that you watched it twice.
I did.
Which means
I did watch it twice.
You could watch it twice.
You could. I would argue you have to.
Some people on the internet would argue that they've watched it 12 times and still don't get it.
Yeah, I would say.
Which, to be fair, I'm going to be very honest. I didn't get it. I like to be the person that's like, oh yeah, I understand this movie from jump, and I do it a lot. It's just because story structure and stuff. When you study it, it makes sense. This one. No clue. Yeah, absolutely no clue. Had to watch it a few times and then watch like 5 videos explaining the plot.
And there's some map somewhere about.
There is a map.
Yeah,
if you Google Primer timeline, it's like a chart that shows you like loops.
Yeah. So if you do want to watch the movie, maybe download the map, and then as you watch it, follow along that way. You might have a better grasp.
I would say go into it blind and then watch like a summary video and then watch it again, and you'll be good. With the timeline, so that you can be like, this is where we are in this, and this is what's happening while that's happening.
If you're blind, it would be hard to watch the movie, but I guess listen to the movie. If you're blind.
So my impression of this movie, when I heard about it, is that it was a... Well, actually, let me ask you this: were you put off by the quality of the movie?
You know what? In the world that we live in today, with all the CGI, and even in some of the newer movies, Marvel movies and stuff, I've heard a lot of complaints about CGI. I'm not a CGI snob.
Okay, yeah, I'm not either.
So that being said, if it's good enough, I mean, like, I'm many years older than you. In the double digits.
Guess in the comments. Guess.
I would say
what's the age gap?
At least in the double digits, if I remember correctly. And that being said, like, it's one of those things where I think back to what I grew up on, and like almost anything, I'm just kind of like, yeah, you know what, that's okay with me. You know what I mean? I literally was watching a really bad movie. Yeah, that was older.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a fair point.
And so, no, it didn't put me off at all. It kind of gave, like, you might think that it was meant to be that way. You know what I mean? Like, that it was recorded that way on purpose, which it was, because that's all they could afford when it comes to equipment. But, you know what I mean? I wasn't put off at all. It's not like, I think a lot of
It's not the prettiest movie.
no,
That's for sure.
no, not even a little bit. There's no good scenery. There's no like spectacular locations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
It's like 4 locations,
yeah,
and they all look pretty much the same.
which is like 3, which is about maybe 2 or 3 locations more than most Quentin Tarantino movies. Usually it's
Yeah,
just
true.
like one location.
Yeah, but one very pretty location.
yeah. So no, I wasn't. To answer your question, no, I was not put off by it. I did notice it, but
So, how I found this movie was by in the film circle. Sometimes people show up and they're like, "This is one of my favorite movies." It's Reddit. That's the secret. If you want to find weird, like $10,000 Sundance award-winning movies, go on Reddit. That's the secret. Just so everybody knows that I'm not in some like elite inner circle that meets once a week and like
I would
has
believe
blood
it.
sacrifices.
I would believe it. With hooded,
would be neat.
dark
No,
hooded. No, I said dark.
He's
said
trying
dark.
to get me on that one.
Dark hooded, basements with candles and.
But someone was like, "Hey, if you like time travel movies, you should check out Primer because it's like the most complicated movie I've ever watched." And so I started looking into it, and I was like, "It's a movie that was made with," and the number changes every time, so I'm going to say under $10,000, which was also like oh my god, under $10,000 won the audience award at Sundance. Like, what is this movie?
That hit like your.
That hit like every note for me.
Yeah, that you were just like, ooh, now I must check this out.
Because I made a movie with $5,000.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, hard, very difficult to do. Would not recommend. So a movie that was around the same, it's like $7,000 or $8,000, I think is what the actual number was for Primer. And I found it at the time that I was making my movie, and I was like, oh, so I could this is real. I could win a Sundance award.
You could.
I could have. But this movie was
you.
much smarter than mine was, by far.
I mean, again, too smart, I would say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I don't even know if you've watched mine yet, so
productive.
Maybe hold off on that
well,
until
here's
you see it.
Well, like I said, and I think in the game night episode, like I'm not even sure if my Blu-ray player is hooked up, which is why and I didn't mess with it.
I'll send you the thumb drive.
So I I think even the last time when we did game night, I think I rented it, even though I own it. So anyways,
I watched the movie and I went, wow, this was so cool. I have no idea what's going on. Just like you did. And I think I watched it again like a couple of days later after doing we've established this a couple of times. I like to watch a movie, watch a bunch of like the behind the scenes, the making of and whatever that I can find, and then watching it again. And that's what I did with this. And it was really cool. The 2 guys that star in it, one of them, I can't remember who plays what, but my IMDb is not working, so it's hard for me to look. But one of them wrote it, directed it, paid for it, everything, and and then they submitted it to Sundance and won the audience award.
Bank, called up his folks, taking to borrow some cash.
Yeah, as
put
you
together
do.
a whole 10,000.
Yeah, and I think that this was back when everything was still on tape.
Oh,
and so he actually had to cut it. Not in Final Cut Pro, but manually splice it together, which is crazy for a $10,000 budget.
Yeah. So then I think,
but he's an actual scientist too, so it when the things that he's talking about are.
I think when you adjust for inflation, his 10,000 is more 30 or 40.
It's probably
in today's money. So
I think it's probably more around $20,000, probably.
I don't know. I don't really. I mean,
Jarvis, the economist over here.
Yeah. I mean, it's just I know.
But I think you're probably based somewhere, in there. So I don't know. Those cameras are super expensive, and I think they only did it with one camera, which is smart if you don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, which is how it went before I reached into your deep pockets, and now we got 3 cameras instead of the one that I was.
Yeah,
using.
my deep pockets. With the one webcam in the middle for safety. Which, by the way, a little behind the scenes into this one, if you ever see the middle camera, something went wrong. Otherwise, the 2 on the sides are perfectly fine for now.
I think, man, I think we should get to the actual story as best we can.
I think I think we should, and I'm gonna
I think-
spare you in trying to explain it,
Thank
and
you.
spare myself
Yes.
by
thank you.
reading the Wikipedia summary.
Yeah, just to reiterate very clearly, I think we both really like the movie.
Oh yeah,
I think we would both recommend watching it.
oh for sure.
That's my
Yeah, you should
that's
absolutely
my
watch
take.
it.
Yes. Yes.
Is it the best movie ever? No.
Oh,
It's really good though.
I was gonna say yes. No, I'm just kidding. I wasn't gonna say yes.
Jarvis from 24 hours ago.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, let me get into it.
Yes.
And then we'll talk about.
Yeah, we'll get into what's
Some other
actually
stuff.
happening.
There
You know what,
is-
I can at least tell the intro.
There is an honest to God, and I know you can't see it, but this is like you can kind of see the graph. It like loops around itself. That's part of the graph that explains everything. So,
Oh, bro, you know what? You just reminded me of another time travel movie.
yeah.
When you said Loop, we could watch Looper.
Ugh.
You didn't like that one?
Ugh.
Okay. Never mind.
We'll
Maybe,
discuss.
I guess.
We'll discuss. All right. So, again, I'm going to read it off the Wikipedia article. This isn't. Usually we go with my loosely based recollection of things, but this one's just. You'll understand. Okay, so we got two engineers, Aaron and
Yeah.
Abe.
Yep.
I believe Abe is the one that wants to turn the machine into time travel, and Aaron's the one that's like, it's for gravity.
Yeah. It's for fun.
It's for fun. Yeah. And he's like, I don't really care about time travel. And Abe's like, time travel.
Frothing at the mouth.
Pretty much. So the two engineers, Aaron and Abe, supplement their day jobs with entrepreneurial tech projects, working out of Aaron's garage,
As one does.
as one does. During one such research effort, including electromagnetic reduction of objects' weight, the gravity thing. I'm going to dumb this down as we're going because the movie's very smart. The guys are actual scientists, which is why it's really smart. But I'm going to dumb it down because it's, like Jarvis said, and I have also backed up, too smart.
Yeah.
Let me
You
fix this-
need to.
fix this weird hair thing happening so y'all aren't staring at it while I read. So, so while they're working on this electromagnetic reduction of objects weight machine, the anti-gravity machine, the two men accidentally discover an A to B causal loop side effect, which objects left in the weight-reducing field exhibit temporal anomalies. They discovered time travel, is basically what it's saying. Proceeding normally from time A, when the field was activated, to time B, when the field was turned off, then backwards, from B to A, in a continuously repeating sequence, such that objects can leave the field in the present or at some previous point. Basically, you put the thing in the machine. From the time that the machine is turned on to turned off, you can do stuff. And once the machine's turned off, it goes back to that time. So you stick a person into the machine, turn the machine on, the person's in the machine. Person's also not in the machine because once it's turned on, time like freezes essentially. You can leave the machine, go do stuff. Yes, Schrodinger's cat. Thank you, Sybil. Schrodinger's cat. They are both like not in the time and in the time at the same time. While they're in the machine and they're frozen in the machine in time continues to go. That's the loop thing that they're talking about. And once they return, sit back in it, turn the machine off, time continues back from when they turned the machine on. That makes sense?
No. Yes. I mean, yes and no.
Yes and no is correct.
I think one of the things that they tried to explain to show that like weird time stuff was happening is that there was some algae or bacteria in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they took it and they said, "Hey, this has been accumulating for an hour or whatever. I forget what measurement time they use." And the other scientists they showed it to was like, "That's impossible. That's about several months worth of buildup.
Yeah,
5 or 6 months worth of buildup, something." And so they tried to explain it early on before they were putting their whole bodies into the thing. Whatever they were putting in there was accumulating bacteria or algae or something at an accelerated rate. And so that's how I feel about my knees, that they've been put in this box and are accelerating
Nice.
oddly faster than the rest of my body.
Time travel movies make Jarvis feel old, is what we're learning today.
I mean, everything makes me feel old, especially my knees that are deteriorating.
You need a causal loop to fix your knees.
I need, yes, to reset it back to like 10 years ago.
I'll start working on it.
All right.
In the
thanks.
garage.
Yeah. Wait, maybe we're already working on it.
Oh,
While
yeah.
we're recording this.
Then I won't worry about
Yeah,
it.
then we shouldn't worry.
Yes.
Oh, shoot.
Okay, so
Okay, so
hopefully that helps
Yeah.
explain it a little bit better. Abe refines this proof of concept and builds a stable time apparatus, the box. He actually makes two, but they'll get to that, I'm sure. Sized to accommodate a human subject. Abe uses his box to travel 6 hours into his own past. As part of this process, Abe stays in the hotel room, isolating himself from anything outside as to not interact or interfere with the outside world. After which, he enters the box and waits inside the box for 6 hours, thus going back in time for 6 hours. Once he exits the box, Abe travels across town, then explains the proceedings to Aaron and brings Aaron back to the self-storage facility housing the box. At the facility, they watch the earlier version of Abe enter the box. Abe and Aaron repeat Abe's 6-hour experiment multiple times over multiple days, making profitable same-day stock trades armed with foreknowledge of the market's performance. And then the duo's divergent personalities, Abe cautious and controlling, Aaron impulsive and meddlesome, put subtle strain on their collaboration and friendship. Aaron wants to continue to push the limits of the time thing, and Abe is like, maybe we should just like not.
yeah, I think he's kind of like, let's just keep making money, bro.
Yeah.
And I think
And
that's-
Aaron's like, but we could do different things and see what happens, like a
Yeah.
true scientist.
Right. Yeah. He really wants to mess with things, and I feel I'm more aligned with other dude.
Yeah,
What's his name?
Abe.
Abe, who's just like, bro, let's just make money and like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
which is, I feel like what anybody would do the first time that they learn about time travel is they'd be like, yeah, give me the give me the numbers for the lottery.
Yeah. He wants to make like new timelines and stuff, and he wants
Yeah.
to like, yeah, he really wants to push it, but he obviously has not seen like or read the Flashpoint from
Well,
DC Comics because
and this movie doesn't use timelines
Yeah.
as a trope because everything happens within their one timeline. Like if there's another version of them,
Or
they're
does it?
all there.
we don't know because it's so complicated.
That is what happens.
That could be, that could just be their perception though. And
Yeah,
ours.
yeah. Additionally, their bodies start getting weird stuff happening. Like one of their ears starts bleeding, and
Yeah, I
their
think it's-
days.
Yeah, it's messing with the brains. And then also, I just want to just note that the way that he proves it to the guy after the first time he mentions it is they go to the spot and they just start watching themselves going into.
Yeah,
So they're basically have their own doppelgangers.
yeah, and they don't know how many, but they don't know that yet. Spoilers for when I read 5 minutes later. And their days become
Time
like
travel.
36 hours long, basically, because of the time that they're giving themselves for the box. And as the film progresses, the two men begin to notice alarming side effects, which take place, like their ear bleeding, and then their handwriting gets progressively worse as well. Their tension starts to come to a head after a late-night encounter with Thomas Granger, father to Abe's girlfriend, who appears inexplicably unshaven and exists in overlap with his original suburban self. Granger falls into a comatose state after being pursued by Aaron, and Aaron theorizes that at some point in the future, Granger enters the box with timeline-altering consequences. Abe concludes that the time travel is simply too dangerous and enters the secret second box, the failsafe box, which they didn't explain before, so I'll explain it now.
Yeah.
2 boxes were made. And I believe, yes, 2 boxes were made. Both do the exact same thing. Before they do absolutely anything else, and Abe starts talking about this time travel box that was made, he enters the first one, turns it on, and does not turn it off. So he's like, that's his failsafe. If everything goes to shit, he gets back into that box, turns it off, everything resets, and they're good. At least that's what the
That was his
the idea.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
So Box 1 has Abe in it permanently. Box 2, they've been using for shenanigans.
And
Up to this point.
And shenanigans continue to ensue.
Yeah, shenanigans continue to ensue. And let's be real, this probably wouldn't be a movie if the failsafe box worked. Which it does, just not as a failsafe to reset everything.
Yeah.
So Abe does go into the box, turns it off, and runs back the time 4 days to prevent everything from starting. Cumulative competing interference wreaks havoc upon the timeline. Future Abe sedates original Abe so that he never conducts the original experiment and meets original Abe back at the park bench as to dissuade himself, but finds that future Aaron got there first, armed with previous recordings of the past and an unobtrusive earpiece. So to explain, Abe went back in time, kept himself from going into the experiment in the first place, and then tries to meet himself at a park bench where he's about to explain to Aaron from the beginning of the movie about the time travel. But Aaron's already there with a bunch of like recordings that he's listening to about the time travel experiments already having happened.
Yeah, so Aaron, I think, might actually be the smarter of the two.
Yeah.
Because he has all kinds of, actual fail safes that work.
Yeah.
And so he basically recorded the conversation, the original one, put it in his past self's ear, so that as life is happening, he's getting the original context and conversations
basically as it's happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so and it lets us hear it so that you can see that the things that he's saying, or that are being said to him or that he's experiencing, are not what was on the original recording.
Yeah.
In some cases it's the opposite. Sometimes it's just slightly different. Sometimes the conclusions end up being the same anyways. But so Aaron, I guess, was just like, well, I don't want this experiment to end. I want to keep doing the things, and I'm going to make sure
I already
it continues
stopped
to
it.
happen.
Yeah.
And Aaron was like, no, you didn't, because I am the superior intellect.
Yeah.
So I guess
that
makes you Aaron and me Abe.
Well,
because I'm just like more simple-minded. Like,
maybe
come on,
you're right.
bro. Let's just
maybe it should.
let's just make money.
Yeah.
And you're
and that's a fair point.
And then you're just like, no, let's figure out how much we can mess with here.
Very accurate, by the way.
Yes, I agree.
The 2 men briefly and tentatively reconcile. I just want to point out, before I continue reading this, at this point in the story, before Abe goes to shut off the failsafe box, kind of easier to follow. As soon as that failsafe box turns off, I don't know. So I'm sure the explanation for this in the plot is not going to clear up anything.
Yeah, no. You're going to have to...
You are going to have to watch, because
you're going to have to watch
in the movie, you do feel like it ends like conclusively. And even if you don't like really understand what's going on, you're like, yeah, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, never mind. Jarvis disagrees. We'll watch it again, go back 24 hours and see if you agree,
I'll have to rewatch it another 2 more times.
So they reconcile, and they jointly go back in time, experiencing and reshaping an event where Abe's girlfriend was nearly killed by a gun-wielding party crasher. After many repetitions, Aaron, forearmed with knowledge of the party's events, stops the gunman, becoming a local hero. Which is kind of crazy. That their families and their family lives are also like a part of the story a lot, but not really. It's kind of just there to show like the time travel stuff affecting things more.
I think they could have done a little bit more showing the outskirts of like things changing.
Yeah.
That might have made things a little bit more easy to follow. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. So Abe and Aaron ultimately part ways. Aaron considers his new life in foreign countries, where he can tamper more broadly for personal gain, where Abe states his intent to remain in town and dissuade possible sabotage to the original box experiment. Abe warns Aaron to leave and never return. Multiple Boxaware versions of Aaron circulate. At least one future Aaron has shared his knowledge with original Aaron via the voice recordings and such. and an unsuccessful physical altercation. Future Abe watches over original Abe, going to painstaking extremes to keep him unaware of the future. And Aaron directs French-speaking workers in a construction of a warehouse-sized box, kind of like leading to the fact that he's going to do larger experiments.
Yeah.
And a warehouse-sized one, at least.
Yeah. I mean,
that's it, by the way. That's where it ends.
Yeah.
On a cliffhanger of all things.
Yeah, and there's no Primer 2 to help answer any questions.
There was another movie he made, and I'll be honest, I didn't watch it, so I don't know if it's supposed to be like a follow-up to Primer, but it's not stated like it is one. It also didn't get that much attention.
He's a one-hit wonder.
For sure. Sometimes there's movies that, like, that'll do that to you, you know?
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of people make entire careers out of making movies that aren't as successful as their original ones.
Yeah. Happens all the time.
Yeah. But it's usually like in the pursuit of trying to make a better movie and not succeeding. There's a lot of people who do really well with it, like Tarantino.
Yeah.
Could have been a one-hit wonder. Some people would still consider that he's a one-hit wonder because of Pulp Fiction.
That I reject.
I agree with that because he's very good, makes very good movies.
Django Unchained.
You could also argue that Steven Spielberg is a one-hit wonder because of Jaws, which also wouldn't be true, but it is his most well-known film. And then you got this guy who made Primer.
Yeah, this guy's the most infamous, I think.
You got
Notion.
Most famous for my kinos out there, Orson Welles. Everybody who knows me just rolled their eyes simultaneously. But Orson Welles made what everyone considers to be all the cinema people, all of the kinos as they are
in the secret underground meetings.
Yeah, consider his movie Citizen Kane to be the best movie ever made.
Oh yeah, I've heard these legends.
Yeah. Which it's like historically maybe as like an actual movie, definitely not. But also, like, he went on and did a whole thing with his career and never made another massively successful movie like that ever again.
Yeah.
And it happens. And I think that it's less to do with how good the movie is and more so with how the person reacts to their success. Just a hot take for y'all.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to talk about with this movie now that we've gone through the plot. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah. I after you went through that whole plot, I recognize even more that I don't know what's happening.
I will say I did watch a video
Yeah.
right before you came in.
Oh,
a little 6-minute
quick breakdown.
If I remember, I'll make sure that it gets linked in the description. But it was a 6-minute like timer explained in primer explained in 6 minutes.
Yeah, we might.
It was really good.
Okay, yeah.
It was really good.
We want you to watch it, but we want you guys to be a little more enlightened about what's going on.
That 6 minutes did a lot better than that Wikipedia plot summary did.
Yeah,
just to be clear, like it made a lot more sense. Like there's a point in the movie where they started the experiments, and then Abe's girlfriend Rachel was like, "Yeah, I think I hear rats in the attic." It wasn't rats; it was them
hiding out,
not understanding the consequences of the things. There's another one where I think it was Abe went to that hotel room and got a phone call from his girlfriend, and he answered it, and then later he comes back and they are like running around town, and he gets that same phone call.
Yeah,
but he picks it up, which means that Abe, that is currently in the hotel room, didn't get the phone call.
Yeah,
so they like encounter a paradox, which encourages Aaron to be like, well, if that's happening, what else is happening?
Yeah.
Which is why he's like, I need to know more. Like, we got to figure this out.
Yeah, he was, so in the original, which I guess that's just his scientific mind. But I felt like he was super worried about finances in the beginning. And then
they figured it out.
Yeah, and then he just kept, doing secret things and not capitalizing off of it.
Also weird for them to pick like stocks. They could have picked like the lottery later in the week.
Yeah, I think
wanted
he
to do
even
stock
didn't Abe
trading.
mention that. I think he mentioned
I
lottery.
think he did.
I mean, because that's the first.
It's
and
a lot
obvious.
easier to make a
Yeah.
lot of money quickly.
Yeah,
But I guess you could only do it like once.
you can make a
Before it's a
lot of
problem.
money.
Nice.
uh,
Maybe some of our politicians have a time machine because they seem to be really good at that.
yeah, we seem to be stuck in a loop of things just getting worse and worse.
Yeah, if we're time travelers, we're really bad time travelers.
really bad. They keep. I think they. But I think that's the nature of time travel is that you keep trying to change things to make it better, and you just keep making things worse. I think that actually would explain what's happening
Yeah.
to America. So we don't want to get into politics too much here.
No.
But
it's election season, so it's really easy to get caught up in that.
Which I don't want to get caught up in that
No.
ever. Not even for a little bit.
So let's talk more about movies.
Yeah.
So I said earlier, $8,000 to $10,000. The Wikipedia says 8. The IMDb says 7. I've seen people say 5, so that's why I say 10. Under 10,000
Yeah.
to make this movie, which is kind of like a crazy number if you think about it. That means that he didn't pay his friends to act in it, which is pretty much what that is. But it grossed over $800,000.
Hey,
so the return on that is crazy.
Yeah.
And I dare say it's mostly because of the Sundance Film Festival Awards.
Yes.
Not because, they made money from Sundance, but when you take movies to festivals, it's to hopefully get some recognition from it, and so that a distributor picks it up and sells it. So that's pretty much, if for all the people who don't understand the point of film festivals, it's not just so everyone can go around and be like, look, I made this experimental movie, give me money. It's mostly so that they can get distributors to see the movies and have them be like, yeah, we could sell that. And that's what happened with this one. Is it went to Sundance, won an award, and the distributor went, hey, we'll make DVDs and market it and sell it for you. So that's pretty cool. It did make a lot of money by movie standards, but like if you do the math on the return on investment, they made a pretty penny off of that. Hopefully everybody that worked on it got paid from that too.
Yeah,
hopefully. I'm not saying they didn't. It's just, from my own experience making a movie, I did not pay any of my cast and crew. It was all a labor of love, and I thank them for that every single day with the hopes that at some point it was going to make some money, and it didn't. So,
which sometimes happens.
Yeah, which happens a lot, actually, with indie movies. That's some other cool things about it is that they did have to rent a storage facility and just put 2 like cardboard boxes taped with like plastic bags.
Probably some speakers
inside
make
of
with noises.
Yeah, some weird lights.
Weird electronic noises.
It was shot in their house and in their like small town in their office space that they worked out of, which really like shows there's a fun filmmaking thing that I heard once where it was when you aren't getting like massive amounts of millions of dollars to make money, start small, start with what you have, and make a story to the restricted boundaries of the things that you currently have, not based off of like what you wish you could have, because that's how a lot of smaller filmmakers get a good start, is by like not falling into the trap of, well, I'm going to write a movie that needs $500 million to make, and it'll make $1 billion back, and then they never sell the movie because nobody wants to find a script like that.
Yeah,
I love this movie. You got any fun things while I look back and see if there was anything that I missed over here?
Any fun things? No, I don't. Sorry, I didn't give you any time.
That's okay.
No, I just it's a movie that I think you should experience at least once, and at least 3 times if you want to try to understand it. But I think it's one of those that's worth the watch, and I think that I don't want to say that you'll like it because we seem to have controversial takes. Came from our Rise of Skywalker Last Jedi video.
You're still learning the microphone, huh?
Still learning, man. That's all we do. We try to learn every day, and I'm still
Yeah.
trying to learn what this movie means
You
to
want
me in the bigger picture. How does this relate to my life and how does it improve? I guess since I can't go back in time to make the most of the moments I live in,
Mhm.
I don't know. Sounds like something you'd read on a bumper sticker.
Yeah. This is definitely less of like a morals think piece kind of a movie and is more of a what if this thing could happen?
I think it could have carried more weight if it had more moral weight to it.
Yeah.
And consequences.
Yeah,
you know
I
what mean?
can tell you what I would have changed to both make it easier and a little bit more impactful.
Is that
Would that
is
be,
that what we're about to do?
Yeah, we can do that.
Ooh, I
so-
love this part.
So
We do this occasionally.
his name's Shane. Shane Carruth. Hopefully that's correct.
Aaron's way better.
Aaron is a way better name. That is his character. He plays Aaron. But Shane.
It'd be a shame if he wasn't able to make another movie that was good.
Editor, bleep that out.
Come on, that was a good one. No.
Editor, bleep that one out.
No.
So he obviously has some sort of technical degree. I can actually read you exactly what it is. He graduated college with a degree in mathematics and was a former engineer. And he chose to not simplify the language in the movie for the sake of the audience, which we both argue when you don't know the language, you have to explain it better. In fact, Interstellar did this, I think, really well.
Yeah.
Is that it was a very heady movie about how time and space works.
Yeah.
And there's always a scene when they're really heady, like complex things where they're like, so a black hole, basically, you got this piece of paper. This is the plane we live on. And the circle is distance, right? Black hole pops a hole in it so you can go to the other side immediately.
Yeah.
Right? Easy to understand.
I think some people didn't like that, but I think
Yeah, but it helps. It helps the audience not feel like they're being talked down to.
yeah, it is kind of funny when you think about a scientist explaining in little kid terms something to another scientist
Yeah.
that already knows these things.
Yeah.
But it's just
That's
it is
fair.
just for us.
But it is for our sake.
And yes, it helps make that a more approachable movie, and I think it gives you greater mass appeal. The more people that can be included in understanding what you're the story you're trying to tell,
It actually
the
makes
better.
your audience feel smarter because they learned something.
Yeah, this movie did not make me feel smart.
No.
It made me feel very inadequate and it really emasculated me as a man.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. So yeah, I think that there needed to be a moment at the beginning where Abe was explaining to Aaron how it worked rather than showing him that it worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, it's time travel. It's like, yeah, but not really time travel. It's the time still moving while you're not in the box.
Yeah, it could have been like a flashback cutscene to a professor somewhere.
Oh yeah,
trying to
like a whip
talk about
pan, that 70s show style.
Yeah, for sure. There's lots of ways
The
to
other
work
thing,
that.
obviously Shane comes from an engineering, like science, mathematical background, right? I
Obviously.
don't think that he, and this is not like a dig on him in any way, has a good filmmaking mindset. Told a really great story. Told a really interesting story for
Yes.
sure.
Oh, for sure.
And,
100%.
and like I have no right to tell him that he's not a filmmaker. But there are some things that he could have done in the making of this movie to make it easier, like having the two characters not wear the exact same outfit.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you know what? I would say we would love for Shane to interact with us in real life and talk about. How about that?
That'd be fine.
How about
I'd
we
be
throw
cool
that
with
out
that.
there?
Shane Carruth, if you somehow find this channel at its infancy, as it is
Or
currently,
anytime.
or at any time, yeah,
If it
feel free. We'll do a primer follow up. That'd be
yeah,
cool.
dude, we'd love to pick your brain, and we're just putting it out there in the universe, and
Yeah.
maybe it'll reverberate back from point A to point B, and will involve you coming and talking to us about. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just saying random stuff.
Some other things that could have helped is the the differentiating the A story from the B story, which with a very complicated movie like this, you need a break from the A story
Yes.
to talk about the B story.
And you know what? You know what? Some movies I think about that do that pretty well.
What?
Like, of course, I can't remember the title. It's a very popular movie, and I know we got George Lucas, his name,
Mm-hmm.
and so here it comes. It's the Jet Li movie, where he's trying to kill the emperor, and a lot of the different scenes are color coded, so that like you can see. Like the scene is more this color. If it's him telling a lie, this color prominent.
Yeah.
If it's the
I
truth,
was about to talk about the color. Yeah.
the color scheming, and that
Yeah.
was a way for them to. You may not notice it at first, but then you start to pick up. Oh, like okay, well,
Yeah. There's a lot going on here.
yeah, and then
Like,
this
the
is
color.
clearly he's lying. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And so that was a cool. And I think there's more movies than that have done it. Oh man, I'm so bad. I can't believe I can't remember the name of it. I
It's okay.
actually like that movie. Do you know what movie I'm talking about?
No, not even slightly.
I'm gonna look it up because it's
Yeah, that's
boring
fine.
me. I'm gonna do that while you talk.
And then the final thing, the thing that I think you have, well, no, I think I would have the biggest gripe with, but I think you'll agree with me, is there's no like character growth for either of our main characters. And I think I'd have to remember which movie I complained about this. Oh no, it was Last Night in Soho, where I complained that the main character didn't have any growth from the beginning to the end. This movie definitely did not have any character growth from the beginning to the end. Both of our main characters went through an entire journey just to end up back at the beginning being like, yeah, I'm still going to be cautious about this, and you're still going to be very interested in it.
Mm.
And that's it. There was no change, no development. It was just two dudes being the exact same.
Yeah.
Which I guess you could argue, like, thematically that makes sense, but I'd also argue with you that you're wrong.
Yeah, I would have loved to see more tension between the two
Mhm.
as they became more opposed to each other.
Yeah. Need more actual,
well,
like,
ideologies.
consequences to their real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that would have created, good tension and assisted with character growth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For him,
It would have elevated the movie from, like, what it is already, which is
Yeah.
a good movie, into, like, a really good, like, thinker movie that leaves you with an understanding of, like, the complications with doing things that are scary.
Yeah, Primer was no doubt had a lot of intellectual depth, but not much in the way of emotional depth. And I think that
Yeah.
them like
It would have helped.
not coming to blows, like, but maybe, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, to create like to show like, hey man, like now I think we've crossed some lines that maybe we shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And then him being so, the mad scientist so focused on the goal that he loses sight of, he's going to lose his family. He's going to lose the people that he loves in pursuit of this thing, which I get. That's kind of crazy if you find yourself in a situation where you've stumbled upon time travel,
Mhm.
like obviously wanting to
Yeah, you're
test
going
the
to jump
limits.
into it
Yeah,
quickly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I get it, but I think I would like to think that I have the sense to just be like, you know what, maybe this is not something I should mess with, and let me just make some money and then I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Keep.
Not tell anybody
so.
about it.
Yeah,
Just keep it very low key.
yeah,
Maybe destroy the boxes.
yeah. After being comfortable enough
Yeah.
to do what I
Something
wanna do in
something
life.
conclusive.
Yes,
More so than
Yes.
the one
More
of
so
them's
than
going
what
to
we've done.
continue to experiment.
yes.
I know I said that it felt conclusive, but yeah.
And now you're
No, you're right.
in your words because yes, I'm right this time and you're
Yeah.
wrong.
You're allowed to be right.
I know, but you took me back on Last Night in Soho, so
Fair enough.
this feels like redemption.
Yeah.
No, okay, real quick, I want to mention. So the movie that I was talking about was Hero with Jet Li.
Okay.
And I think since you haven't seen it, maybe we should watch it because
Maybe.
I think you might like it. I think you might like some of the storytelling. I think it's very good. So maybe we do that one because it's pretty good.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe put in the comments. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, put in the comments. But also, I think it's gonna be my next recommendation.
So
because I really I do like it. I would like to rewatch it, and I would like to hear your thoughts on it.
So Jarvis,
Michael.
close us out here.
Yes.
What would you rate this movie?
Oh man.
Your letterboxed.
Oh man. You know what? Maybe we should create one of those for the channel.
We'd have to have two.
Would we?
Yeah, one for me, one for you, so we could review the same movie twice.
Or we could just do one and
Just
it
put
out.
it in there. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
just average it out.
I did that, but
Like
I think that's a 5-star rating, so you got to do out of 5.
Right. We're not on Letterboxd. We're in real life in
Yeah.
this very moment.
Yeah,
This is not
where
an
we
app.
like to live. We like to
This is
live
not a
in the
website.
moment. You're watching it on a website.
Yes. You son of a gun. With that being said, as a real life human, not stuck in a time loop, I would give it. I would probably give it, because of the complicatedness of it, I'd get it a 6.5.
Out of 5.
out of 10 time loops. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like 6.5 out of 10.
So it's a
Going
3.5
back
stars.
and forth into the past and future.
Okay. 3.5 stars. The 3 stars. Ish. 3.5 ish.
Something like that.
Yeah.
3.25.
4 to 5 stars. I'd give it an 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Tickled something in you that
I'm a sucker for successful indie movies
okay. Yeah,
that
I know.
break
It
the conventions.
yeah, it ticked a lot of your boxes, bro.
It does.
It left a few of my boxes unticked. You know what I mean?
I do.
That's all I want a movie to do is just tick my boxes just a little bit more. And it didn't. But as a friend, it makes me happy to hear that more of your boxes got ticked. And I'm glad I can leave here, happy knowing that you had 8 of your 10 boxes ticked.
Yeah. This analogy is ticking me off currently.
Hey, TikTok, baby.
Bleep that one, editor. It's in all fairness.
TikTok, baby. It's all about time. I know. I wish you could go back in time and take back some of those things that you
go back 24 hours and not recommend this movie.
Oh man, we're just here to have a good time, bro.
What would you do if you could just infinitely go back in time? Would you just start watching movies?
Oh my gosh,
without
dude,
consequence.
There's so much of my life I would like to take another crack at.
Yeah.
But I would have to go further in time.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, you'd have to stay in that box for a while to go back
man.
further.
It
You got to be in the box for years.
See,
You know.
I would be that. See, would be my mistake too. Is that I would be like, oh, if I can go back and fix these things,
Yeah.
I would be so focused on trying to do those that I would probably make things a lot worse. That would be
you back
that's
to the
what I
future
would do.
yourself.
I would Back to the Future myself, and it wouldn't have a happy ending, most likely, knowing
Yeah.
my luck.
You also probably wouldn't be interested in your mom.
What? Don't
That's
say
the thing
weird
that
stuff like
happened.
that.
That's what happened in the movie.
He was interested in his mom.
Yeah, he became his own.
His mom was interested in him. She tried to make a move on him.
Well, I can't speak for your mom, but
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking about real life, and I was like, what?
No.
When did I ever say that?
Back
I
to
didn't
the
know that you had
Future.
jumped. Yeah, you had jumped to Back to the Future. You
Yeah.
had jumped back in time
Yeah.
to Back in the Future.
What would
which is
you
a great
do?
movie.
What would you do with
There's so many
extra
time travel
time?
movies, dude.
There's so many time
that
travel movies.
Yeah, so many.
More recently, too, multiverse movies.
Yeah, just
Um,
kind of.
So yeah, thanks for watching and subscribing.
Yeah,
You know what time it is.
I hope you go
You
back.
get that reference?
Huh?
Do you know that one? You watch Good Mythical Morning?
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? You missed because you didn't watch Parks and Rec. I don't think.
Yeah.
Missed my Money Please reference, and I was staring at you for a long
Yeah.
time, knowing that you didn't know what I was saying. Upset and frustrated, wishing I could go back in time and make you watch that show, because it's a good reference. And I'm gonna probably just pull it up on YouTube after this and show you anyways.
If y'all agree with this movie being a good movie, comment Yapper in the comments.
Yeah, and then after you take
Doesn't get that one either.
the time, no, I don't. Wait, maybe I have to think about it. Yes, I do get it. Wait, I don't know. Maybe.
Tell us in the comments. Did Jarvis get that one?
I think I got it. I think I do. I think so. But while you're taking the time to leave that comment, go ahead and like and subscribe too.
Yeah.
We would like to interact with you. We'd love to hear what you think about the movie if you've
Yeah.
seen it, or if this review interested you enough to go and watch it, because you should.
You should watch Primary.
You should.
You should watch
and then,
Primary.
we're gonna try to get that link in the description for you guys, so that you're not as lost.
Yeah,
as I was
it's a
on
really
the
good
side.
6-minute video.
Yeah,
It's really good.
we'll give you the tools to.
Much better than my
Feel
like
successful.
15-minute explanation that did not make me feel
Yeah,
confident
and
at
you know,
all.
and you know what? I am kind of upset that you didn't send me that before when I started watching the movie.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Because that might have.
I did find it like
That
30
might have
minutes
been-
ago.
Oh.
Well, sorry, an hour and 30 minutes ago.
Oh well, better jump in your little time box and
Yeah, and
make
bring
this
it back
thing
to you.
right.
Got
and then
you.
I could give it a higher rating.
Got you. Hey, let's jump into a time box to close out this video. Ready?
Weird noises. Just imagine we're box. It's crazy. So,
Wait. Okay. Really cool idea for the outro. You ready? I'm keeping this part in.
oh my gosh.
So it's going to switch to you, and then I'm going to disappear, and then it's going to switch back to my camera, and you're going to disappear. You ready? You ready? No, it's okay. It'll make sense.
Okay.
All right, you ready? I'm time traveling now.
And I guess it's my turn to do the thing.
Hey, full-time MFers. You like this video? 'Cause we sure did. If you liked it, maybe you should share it with your friends. Maybe like the video and subscribe.
If we were you, that's what we would do. I mean, if I was watching this,
I'd be all over that.
Like, and I'd hit that share, and then I would hit that subscribe in that order.
Yeah. There's also another video that's popped up. YouTube thinks you like this one, so you should watch that one now.
See you next time.